to the Super Speedway.
Welcome to episode 188 of the Super Speedway podcast, recorded Tuesday, March 23rd, 2021. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. If I sound a little bit different, James, I'm in a new location. Finally.
Home, sweet home.
Finally in the official studio of the Super Speedway podcast. It's a little echoey in here right now. There's a lot of hard surfaces. We'll get that fixed over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I'm separated from the rest of the family at the moment. I have doors closed.
There was no screaming on the show before the show.
Right, yeah. We don't have any clips to put at the end because unless we screw up during the show.
Well, is the room that you're in now bigger than the entire apartment that you were in previously?
No, but it is probably about half the size.
Okay, so there you go. There's your difference right there.
It's definitely half the size of the living room / office area that was combined for our main living area in the apartment. So
you guys moved in a quick hurry, boy.
Yeah, well, we're not.
Impressive.
I mean, everything's not moved. We still have a lot of stuff in the apartment to get over here. We have until the end of next month to do it. Yeah. So we've got some time, but yeah, we did the one day everything big move, and it was hell, but we're in.
The podcast studio is up and running. That's the first priority.
Yeah, it was the first priority too. This was up and running before we'd moved.
Yeah. And you Facebook posted a picture of your new studio.
Yeah.
To which I responded with a comment that your wife did not enjoy. She sent me a little angry face on Facebook. So I'll leave it at that.
What did you say? I don't remember what you said.
I sent our buddy Todd a little note that said, "Hey Todd, there's room for a wheel and pedals
there."
And
I didn't realize that she responded that. That's funny.
Oh yeah, she was not impressed. Yeah,
that's
got
funny.
The little angry face. Yep. So I'm on Kay's naughty list.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can win her back though. We'll see.
I've been on that list for we've been together quite a long time, so
yeah. most
of those years have been on that list. So
that's right.
You're good. You might as well just join me there.
Yeah, good.
So just, I've got extra rooms now. I can sleep in a different room if I need to, I'm all set.
Well, we've got a lot more confidence now that you're separated by walls and a door.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, I will warn everybody that while I am separated by walls and doors, the family is in the other room that's right adjacent to this one watching the Mighty Ducks 2 right now. So if you hear some giggling, laughing, or, I don't know, music or stuff from the show, that's why. But
good.
Yeah, no biggie. It's better than the apartment.
Yes. So, oh yeah. Good deal.
Yeah. So let's talk some NASCAR, James. We had the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500 from Atlanta Motor Speedway, and you know what? It was definitely 500 freaking miles. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, a long one. These 500 milers, I know we've talked about them many times, but definitely, I didn't think it was that long, but I was farting around the house.
Yeah.
Most of the day. So, by the time I checked in, those last, I kept checking in. I was able to watch pretty much all of it, but yeah, it was a long afternoon. That 3:00 start times again, which was just fantastic, but.
I watched it delayed because we moved Sunday, so I was fortunate to be able to skip a large part of the final stage. I did skim through a lot of it. I realized something too, James. A lot of times on this podcast, we talk about stuff, and you're the guy who brings up pit stop errors. And
yes.
The reason you're the one that brings up pit stop errors is because I almost always skip through the pit stops because I'm always watching the races delayed. And I just, the pit stops generally go error-free, and so I just skip past them. So when stuff happens, I miss it.
Well, we had an exciting weekend of action.
I did get to see that, which that's what made me realize it is I almost skipped over it. When I saw it, I'm
almost missed the sauce, yeah.
I'm like, man, James was making a big deal out of that little thing, and then I saw the end of the Xfinity race and saw a little bit more of it. But we'll get to that. Before we get to that, if, James, this was a 300 or a 400-mile race, Kyle Larson would have won this sucker. But because it was 500 miles...
if it was a 485-mile race, he would have won going away. Yeah.
Ryan Blaney, every race he's won 5 races. He's made a winning pass in the last 10 laps of the race. That's
great.
Nuts.
It's great. Yeah, it's that was quite a... Boy, Eric, I don't know how you feel about this, but I thought that was one of the great veteran drives I've seen in quite some time. When you're
Yeah.
talking about tire fall off, saving your tires, driving smart, Ryan Blaney just, was so patient. And NASCAR's a game of short runs these days, but that was a
Right.
long run to end the day. And he just, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's like a Harvick type thing. Guys who have been doing this for years, who are just so skilled at saving tires and driving smart. The tortoise beat the hare on that one.
Yeah, this is the frustration that I have with Atlanta Motor Speedway because, I mean, really, it doesn't produce good racing, in my opinion. The restarts were decent. We had some excitement, but generally gets stretched out, and it's just not an exciting race to watch. But you get stuff like this where somebody wins because they managed their tires or they had the long
Just
run
naturally.
car.
Yeah.
And that the purist in me goes, this is what it should be. But
What it used to be.
the fan in me goes, no, come on, I want some excitement. And so I'm really conflicted over this race. I think my issues would be solved with Atlanta if we only ran 300 miles here instead of 5.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think too, one of the things that I love, every once in a while a car will come and just a team will just show up at the track and just whip on everybody.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy the domination sometimes because I don't feel like we get it very often. I mean, I can remember a handful of times in the recent years we've had drivers that have just, the Coke 600 a few years back when Martin Truex Jr. just, stunk up the joint. I mean, I find that very interesting sometimes because it's so rare. And we were setting in for, Kyle Larson establishing himself as definitely the guy to beat this season. He was just out there all day. And slowly but surely, lap 40, Blaney's gaining. Lap 30, it's a little closer. Man, we got a race here. We got something going on. Lap traffic gets in the way. Larson gets in the Penske sandwich between all three of those Penske cars, and all of a sudden it's over. Ryan Blaney gets it done. It's just wow. It was a shocking ending to that race.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was shocking, but you saw it coming. And,
you can see it. Yeah, that's right.
Mike Joy hinted at it at the beginning of the last stage, and that Larson has never swept all 3 stages. And,
yes,
if I was Kyle Larson and I was rewatching the broadcast and heard that statement, I'd be pretty pissed at Mike Joy right now.
Yeah.
But,
lots of drivers.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But,
well, here's another thing too, Eric, you got to remember with Kyle Larson. He's a dirt track guy, and you don't save tires on the dirt track.
Right.
I don't know if that's a skill that is developed over the course of a dirt racing career. I think, I don't know. Larson just seemed to be out there hammering it. And I think that's just how he's always drove a car. I don't want to speak for him, but,
right.
But still, I just think, you don't learn that with Ryan Blaney. You've got a background of racing asphalt his entire career. So I think maybe there's a little bit of a, seat time deal there, something like, along those lines too.
I will assure everybody there is not a police raid going on behind me. That's just the Mighty Ducks. So just so you know.
I can't hear them, so I think you're
good. Hopefully I can hear it and it's not coming through my microphone. It's just so.
Yeah, I think you're okay.
Yeah, I mean, so question, James, how big of a factor do you think Joey Logano played in this win for Ryan Blaney? And B, do you think Joey Logano played as a factor for Ryan Blaney, or do you think Joey Logano played a factor for Joey Logano and it had nothing to do with Ryan Blaney?
I don't think Joey was out there trying to help Ryan Blaney win a race.
I agree.
Lap traffic or not, Blaney was catching Kyle.
Yeah, I don't think it would have made a difference. And I think, Joey's doing what he's got to do. It's the end of the race. You want to stay on the lead lap.
Faster. Yeah, and Blaney was coming so much faster. I don't think, and if there was any other lap traffic in front of him, if you're not a lap down, you're going to fight. I don't care who you are.
And you should.
That's what you should do. Yeah, exactly.
Yep, you fight the leader, and after it's the guys that piss me off as lap traffic are the guys that are 4 or 5 laps down that are sitting there fighting. Yeah. But and with 10 to go, sure, maybe you should probably ease out of the way. And Logano did at a certain point when it's like, okay, it's not going to happen. I'll get out of the way, it just so happened that Ryan Blaney had passed for the lead at that point.
Yeah, but and Brad raced him kind of hard too, but gave way. He was really out there. He was having trouble with damage and stuff on the car for pretty much the rest of the race.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think lap traffic really played a role here for Larson. I think it was a small role, but Blaney was coming. I mean, it was, he just had it. Yeah, I mean, and that pass too. I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of a daring pass, but I mean, he had the speed. I mean, you could just see the speed difference. He was able to cut to the bottom, make a pass right there on the front stretch, and it was gone. I mean, Kyle never was able to come back and get him.
Yeah,
it was done.
When he closed up there, you knew it was foregone conclusion that if there wasn't a caution, Blaney was winning that race.
Yeah.
James, give me the stat that you got in the show notes here. That's a good stat.
Oh yeah, this is a good one. So, between 2018 and 2020, the 5 team, which was the 48 team with Jimmy Johnson, led just over 270 laps. I want to say it was like 277 laps total. Those years, those entire 3 seasons. On Sunday, Kyle Larson led 269 laps.
Dang.
So they got 3 seasons worth of laps in one race out of that car. That's how dominant he was, and how far this team has come in such a short period of time.
What about Chris Buescher? Chris Buescher finished 7th. He was great all day again.
Yeah, well, I think that there was some very good driving to be had out there, but yeah, he was one of the guys. He was just solid all day long, and Newman wasn't too far behind him.
Newman was there too. He finished 13th, but he was up there.
Yeah, but not Chris Buescher. It was nice to see the Roush Fords having a little bit of a good day.
Yeah. Chris Buescher placed in the top 10 in all 3 stages. So
yep,
great day
and
for him.
The Rick Hendrick contingent. I know that Chase had to leave with an engine failure, which actually worried me for Kyle Larson for a little bit. I wasn't sure what was going on there. But at one point, those 400 cars were, I think they were 1 through, I think they were all in the top 5, and they ended up all finishing in the top 8 outside of Chase Elliott. So Hendrick's definitely showing some power. DiBenedetto was running really good. I thought that was a great day for him. Another good run for Stenhouse too. I mean, there were some guys who had some good days. DiBenedetto was top 5 quite a while early on too.
Daniel Suarez had an excellent day as well. Finished 10th in stage 2 and was in good position in the final stage, but then sped on pit road.
Yep.
And that cost him.
That team, man, Eric, we talked about them a couple weeks ago. Was it Homestead? No, it wasn't Home. Yeah, it was. It was Homestead.
Yeah,
they had a good run at Homestead. That team has got, I don't know, they got a little bit of something going on there. I really like what I've seen out of that team so far. And Sunday was another good run for those guys. And I'll throw Austin Dillon in there too.
Yeah. I
mean, he was strong all day. 35 points total that he scored. That was one of the highest totals of the day. So. It was nice to see a little bit of a mix. We have our six different winner as well, so we've got some parity going on out there. But yeah, it was nice to see guys like Chris and DiBenedetto and those guys up there a little bit.
Yep, I agree. Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin drove through him, and Kurt Busch ends up in the wall and last.
Yeah, and ended up with some really good Twitter banter between the Busch brothers and Denny Hamlin the last couple of days, which I've enjoyed. So that was good.
And then Chase Elliott has the engine problem, finishes 38th. He was a guy that was running or expected to run well. He finished 8th in the first stage. And then let's see, anybody else here worth talking about? There was somebody else. Oh, Tyler Reddick hits the wall. You mentioned Brad Keselowski with the damage. That put him back. Bubba Wallace finishes 16th. He was kind of in and out all day.
Yeah.
Kevin Harvick rallied back for a 10th place finish.
I wanted to mention that one. Another top 10 scored for Harvick. That was a really bad car. Again, he was not happy. He didn't score hardly any stage points, if any. I don't think he scored any stage points, to be honest. No, he didn't. But, watching the ticker at the end of the race, he was like 16th or something along those lines. And he's just picking him off. And as the tires started to wear down and the run got longer and longer, he was picking him off a little bit faster until he climbed all the way back. Just a veteran effort. But Stewart-Haas is they are in big trouble.
Yeah.
He was my pick when we did our picks last week. And, not much
I know, I was
to show for
so
it.
excited that you were just going to have such a horrible day with him, and then he
I
rallies for
know he
freaking 10th
rallied.
place.
I know he saved me a handful of points, enough to get me the win, which was.
I mean, that's the thing, though, James. Let's talk about that, because that's the type of season that wins a championship. You know, it's not the seasons that he had last year where he goes out and dominates the season. It's the seasons where you have a really bad day and you rally back for a top 10. I mean, is that maybe the way that Harvick gets his championship this year is to, you know, dig a little bit instead of just dominating.
Maybe they've got a long season ahead of them to keep improving. They've got a long way to come, though. They are definitely missing a step. But you know, what's funny is we are chastising the 4-car a little bit, and disappointed, I guess, is another word you could say, with how they are running. But look at his numbers this year. I mean, lots of drivers would kill to be. Let me see. He has got 5 top 10s out of the 6 starts. He's averaging an 8.5 average finish. I mean, it's really. I mean, he hasn't led. He's only led 17 laps, but I mean, lots of drivers would like to have that kind of run. You know, he's not the Kevin Harvick we've seen, but still, they are overcoming whatever's going on at Stewart-Haas. They are finding a way to consistently be a top 10 car, which is what you want, I guess. You know.
Yeah.
I'm struggling.
Austin Cindric was in this race. Did you even know that?
Yeah, he was on my. I have another fantasy league.
Okay.
That's separate from the one that we do, and he was one of my. I had. It's not in the NASCAR league, but I had him on my roster. I was not thrilled with the result. So. Well,
he finished ahead of Chase Briscoe. Just put that one out there by one spot.
He did.
But...
Yeah. One spot. Yeah. Eric Jones. He beat Eric Jones. Tyler Reddick. I had a lot of those guys on my fantasy roster that did not do well. I had a lot of hopes for Tyler Reddick. I was bummed at the results.
Yeah. Anyone else jump out at you here as somebody to mention?
No. I think that
Corey
was pretty
LaJoie
good.
almost led a lap, but then pitted.
Yeah. He had some fast laps that he ran, though. I saw that. He was one of the faster lap times on the day, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah. right.
Saw that.
All right, let's talk Xfinity, James. Justin Allgaier gets himself a win in the Xfinity Series and is completely overshadowed by one driver who just wants to be the center of attention. But let's talk about Allgaier real quick first. Finally gets that win. Had a great day. Second in the second stage, third in the first stage, and led 47 laps on the way to the win. Martin Truex Jr., though, would look like the guy to beat. 103 laps led for Truex, pretty much dominated the race, and Allgaier was able to get him at the end.
Yeah, no, that was a good run. Justin Allgaier, well, he'll never get the credit that he deserves just for being a very talented driver, and he's very good with that team. He's been good for a long time, but they've had some struggles of late, so that was probably, I guess a feel good story for them. I haven't listened to the Dale Jr. download yet, but I'm sure that's probably going to come up.
Right.
That's a win that team needed. Also continues my run of picking guys who win the week before before they win. So, but yeah, nice work by Justin Allgaier. Martin Truex Jr. ran the heck out of that 54 car.
Yeah, he did.
Good looking 54 car too. I really like that car.
Speeding penalty at the end puts him in the back, and he's only able to get up to second place.
Yeah, he hasn't run. I was gonna say he hasn't run an Xfinity race in quite a while, if I'm not mistaken.
It's been a long time.
2010 was his last Xfinity Series race, so 11-year gap.
There you go.
He was 30 years old when he last ran in the Xfinity Series.
Not even the same car anymore.
No, and he hasn't won a race in the Xfinity Series since 2006, so it's been a long time. So he had a chance to break a couple of streaks there, but either way, good run. That 54 car can ride, and I know that team needed it after some struggles they've had with Ty Dillon too. So good run by Martin Truex Jr.
So that was it. Any news out of this race, right? It was pretty quiet.
Yeah, we can probably skip the rest, right?
Noah Gragson. So we have 6 races so far in the Xfinity Series, I believe is correct, and 3 of those has had controversy involving Noah Gragson. So. We got it again this week. So I guess the sequence of events, Daniel Hemrick's coming into his pit. Driver's pulling out. He has to dodge him, ends up in Noah's pit. Noah tries to pull into his pit. Hemrick's there. Noah's pissed off, so he gives him the finger out the window. Hemrick backs into his stall. Noah backs into his stall, but in the process backs into the front of Hemrick's car. And then we don't hear anything else about it. TV kind of mentioned it, but didn't really. They kind of just ignored it.
Well, and I think one note we should make there is with crew members,
yes,
inches away,
yes,
right, working on the front of the car.
Well, and we'll get to that. So that happens. Quiet the rest of the race. We get the interview with Justin Allgaier on the front stretch. Then they're interviewing Martin Truex on pit road, and all of a sudden the camera switches to Hemrick coming at Noah and giving both of them swinging at each other. And turns out Hemrick was pretty ticked off about the fact that Noah put his pit crew in danger. So let's talk about this. And of course, Noah did Noah Gragson things and didn't back down and said that he didn't mean to back in the front of his car, that he had to back up to that point to get into his stall. Continued on social media afterwards to defend himself and not take any blame for the situation. So, James, I know your opinion on it, but the readers, the listeners don't know yet, but I know you texted me right after this happened and gave me your thoughts on it. So what do you think? Noah Gragson, should he have been penalized? He's not going to be. NASCAR's not going to penalize him.
It's already done. NASCAR said no penalty.
Should he be penalized, and did he do it on purpose?
One, yes, he did do it on purpose.
Okay.
I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about he backed into that car on purpose. And that's where I get frustrated and a little bit angry. And if I was NASCAR, I'd sit him. Honestly, I'd make him sit 1 week and think about it, because that's just, I don't know. NASCAR has all these safety things in place for pit crew members and drivers on the track. You can't be, I mean, rough a guy up on the track. That's one thing, but I mean, I know it's not. He didn't, smoke the tires and slam into the car, like
right.
Days of Thunder style. But still, I mean, what if a guy was working on the front tire and, turned to get to the other side of the car, and we are seconds away from a whole different situation there.
Right.
That I think NASCAR. I'm very disappointed in them for the decision that they decided to come down with. I really think. I think a 1 race suspension was probably enough here to get the point across. What do you say, Eric? I don't know. You haven't talked about it too much with me yet,
I haven't. I've kept quiet because I know your stance, and I wanted to hold mine for the show.
Yep.
I didn't want to ruin it on Facebook. So
go for it, man.
I think this is the same thing as Kyle Busch spinning out on the backstretch a couple weeks ago in the Truck Series race. It comes down to intent. And that's why NASCAR didn't issue the penalty, and that's why NASCAR shouldn't have issued the penalty. Did you see the video, the overhead video that Noah shared on Twitter?
Yep, I've seen all the angles, yeah.
So that video, if you look at that, now don't get me wrong. Noah was not careful and did not care if he hit that car. That being said, he kind of had to put it where he did to get into his stall.
Can I add one caveat?
Well,
to
let
that?
me add one more thing. The other thing I want to point out is the fact that it's not easy to see in these cars, especially out the back of them. You can't turn your head around. You're looking out a mirror and you're looking through a spoiler. Again, I don't think he was careful. I don't think he cared if he hit the other car. I don't know that he didn't want to get very close and make it very apparent. But I don't think you can penalize him for it. I don't think it was blatant enough to penalize him for it, I think. Now you can respond.
No, it's okay. No, it's fine. I'm so glad you mentioned that it's hard to see out of the back of these cars because, Eric, of all the angles that you saw, what was going on in the pit stall in front of Noah Gragson?
Was there? I don't think there was anything, was there?
There was nothing in front of him.
Yeah.
Could have pulled in and backed up into his stall.
Yeah.
Just like Daniel Hemrick did behind
him. But he did go up a stall. And I believe, isn't there a rule that if you go too many stalls forward that you can't go back in your stall?
But one stall isn't too many.
Right, but he was in the other stall, though. That's the thing, is he pulled into the other stall in the first place.
I know. Why can't you pull ahead and swing it back? I don't understand why you had to.
Because you're trying to get out of the pits as quick as possible.
Because you're trying to hit the car behind you to make a point.
I don't think you're trying to hit. I think you're trying to make it difficult, but I don't think you're trying to hit. I don't think he blatantly tried to back into him. Now, here's the issue that I have with this. The issue that I have is, so there's this belief that I have of, there is such thing as bad luck, and there is such a thing as, bad things happen to some people. When bad things happen to the same person all the time, usually the common denominator is the person they're happening to.
Right. Yep.
So
I agree with that.
we wouldn't be having this discussion if Noah hadn't had 2 run-ins already this season. We wouldn't be having this discussion if he didn't have his reputation from last year.
Always starting something.
Exactly. Yep. So common denominator makes me err a little bit against Noah on this, but I still don't think NASCAR could penalize. I certainly don't think NASCAR could go as far as suspending for this.
And Bob Pockrass nailed it too when it was immediately after the race. He said, he's in his pit stall. I don't know if NASCAR really can do anything, and that leads to your point of intent. We'll never know what was intended.
When Kurt Busch did his thing, where he pulled in, I don't remember who it was against, but he pulled in the pits at Dover, right up next to the car.
Yeah, Stewart. Yeah,
and I believe he was suspended for that, wasn't he?
No, he was suspended for threatening to beat up Bob Pockrass.
I thought he got a penalty for that too. I know he got parked for the day.
He didn't get sat.
Okay.
So
that's a little bit more blatant than this.
That was definitely more blatant, yeah.
Because that wasn't his own pit stall, like you said, and like Bob said.
I'm so glad you brought up Kurt Busch getting suspended, because that's one of my favorite sound bites of all time.
Yeah.
Him threatening to beat up Bob Pockrass.
Maybe I should find that one and add it to the soundboard.
That would be a good one from the. It's we have to censor it, but it's good. But you said it, you nailed it, Eric. Bad luck does happen from time to time with people, but when it's consistent and it's 50% of the races that you've run, this is. I'm not putting the benefit of the doubt past anybody on this one. This looked super intentional to me, and I'm not too pleased with Noah about this one.
Well,
here's
the other thing though, James, is that intent or not, Noah could really easily put an end to this and just go, "Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it."
Right?
You know?
Yeah.
But no, he's just sticking to his guns and being an ass about it, which is, I mean.
Yeah, and he's taking shots. And he's taking shots at Hemrick's driver's talent, which I'm sorry, Noah, you might be talented. Daniel Hemrick was a Cup Series Rookie of the Year. I know he's racing in the Xfinity Series, and circumstances have gone differently for him. But still, he's been to the Cup Series. He's got a.
He also didn't get a fair shot in the Cup Series, in my opinion.
No, he didn't. But he's been there. He's been to the show. You have not been to the show in a full-time ride. I'm sorry to say. I just.
Here's what I'll say, James. Noah's an idiot.
Go ahead.
He's an idiot.
He does things that resemble that of an idiot. Yes.
That being said, I don't want him to change. I want him to continue to be the idiot he is.
Yes,
I mean, he adds entertainment. We're all entertained. Look at what we're doing right now. We're spending more time talking about the Xfinity race than we did the Cup race.
As we thought we would heading into this. I had a feeling this is where this was going to go. But
exactly.
Eric, this is why Kyle Busch is such a lightning rod. Yeah. And Tony Stewart in his day, he was a lightning rod. The difference
is though that Tony Stewart and Kyle Busch back it up by being great drivers and winning.
Yes.
And if Gragson doesn't start winning and he keeps acting like this, we're going to get to enjoy this for a little bit, but we're not going to enjoy it for very long.
Well, that's the thing. Like that, and I don't, it doesn't always have to be one certain thing all the time either. You can suspend him and not take away the fire inside of him.
Right.
It's like if you have to discipline your boys, right, Eric? They get in a fight or something. There's a good chance they're probably going to fight again tomorrow.
Right.
But you can correct them in that moment and guide them, to the future a little bit. You might have to ground them 3 days in a row, 4 days in a row. Who knows? I mean, I haven't gotten to that stage of my child's age yet, but you know what I mean? Like your kids are your kids and people are people. They're going to, they're going to find their way. And be themselves, and I don't think a one race suspension here would be a nice timeout for him to think about things a little bit beyond himself a little bit. He seems to be very self-absorbed and in his own world. He's not a very good fighter either, I'll say. He did take a big swing.
That was a big swing.
Analyze the fight just for a second here. Big swing, huge miss, because Daniel Hemrick might be a good fighter.
Yeah.
Dodged the punch and then caught him in the eye. It was well done. The only shots that Noah got in on him was when his crew member intervened and bear hugged Hemrick. So
Dave
really good.
Dave Moody's calling for a third man in rule in NASCAR where the drivers are allowed to fight but the crew member that comes in gets suspended afterwards. What do you think of that?
I'm not opposed to that.
I think it seems kind of silly, but I agree.
Dale Jr. said he was upset with his crew. He said they should have let him have at it. So
I mean,
I did see that.
I want to see the fights, man. I don't want to see the fight. I mean, you can go ahead and break them up, but I want the fights to happen. So don't
remember when Daniel Suarez tossed Michael McDowell?
Yeah.
A man who's probably twice his size. That was great.
I give NASCAR tons of praise for not penalizing the fight. Let these guys have at it. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, that's what they want.
It doesn't happen every weekend, but it happens enough to where you're always wondering when somebody gets together on the track if it's going to happen this week.
Yep.
You know, so it's.
Was it? What was another good? I'm going through my mind of like fights I've enjoyed.
I mean, there's really been very few good fights.
Yeah. Casey Mears and Marcos Ambrose, that was a heavy hitter.
Yeah.
That was there's some good contact there. So, yeah, look up, that's a good rabbit hole. Look up NASCAR fights on YouTube. That's fun.
Yeah, there's a really good one between Spencer Gallagher and who was the other bozo? I'm trying to think of his name.
Oh, that was John West Townley.
John West Townley, yeah.
That was a bad
My
fight.
God, it was like bad WWE. It was
there
so
was
bad.
the Tony Stewart and Joey Logano at Auto Club,
Yep.
where I think Tony might have ripped him in half had he gotten his hands fully on him.
Yep.
That's the bust his ass line that we enjoy so much.
Also should be on the soundboard.
That should be on the soundboard.
You know, if we were podcasting back then, it'd definitely be on the soundboard.
It would have been, yeah.
Although I was going to try and find the audio clip from Hemrick after the race because he had a good one too. But I didn't get a chance to find it.
Yeah, he did. What did he say? He said, no, he said we're good. He said he
said something about he hit me on pit road and I was going
I hit him in the eye.
Yeah. it was a good line. And shame on Fox for pushing that to freaking the post-race show from the studio and not getting the interview right on the air during the race. Oh, come on, guys.
I know.
Jeez.
I know. I had a feeling we were going to talk Xfinity more than Cup today, which is good.
Yeah.
I enjoy. Listen, man. Anytime there's a fight, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm ready to talk.
I'm telling you. So yeah, I mean, I don't want Noah to change, but Noah needs to get out of his own way a little bit and start working on the performance before he keeps getting into issues. I mean, this is going to be Ross Chastain in the Cup Series too, James. This is the same deal that Ross is doing. You gotta win some races before you ruffle the feathers. And
it goes back to Mike Joy's original comment a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, now I'm more on board with Mike Joy than I was.
Yeah, everybody else is here to see that your dreams are made.
Yep.
Honestly, you got to make some of your own dreams.
Yep.
And if this is the dream, if Noah thinks that this is the dream right here, he's sorely mistaken. This is not what a dream Cup career, being built looks like.
Right.
You got to get your stuff together here, man. You got to just take a breath from time to time. Have a little humility. He definitely does not have that. So
yeah,
we'll see.
A couple other things to hit on for the Xfinity race. All around good day for Junior Motorsports. Justin Allgaier gets the win. Noah Gragson ends up fourth despite his issues. Michael Annett finishes seventh. The only one who had trouble was Josh Berry, who tried to put a giant divot in the grass at Atlanta Motor Speedway. First of all, why in the hell does Atlanta Motor Speedway have grass as long as they had on the front stretch?
Yeah.
And second of all, they're going to have Supercross there in a couple weeks. They already started apparently the track construction with the front splitter from Josh Berry's car. So
yeah, he tore up he definitely got the dirt out there. And he looked like Travis Pastrana there.
Yeah.
Launching it.
That car was so high in the air. So Dale Jr. had a great tweet. He's testing his car that he refurbished, his dad's car that he's going to lead the field with at Darlington, and he tested it out at Charlotte to make sure it runs and everything. And Marcus Smith was there, and he said since he let me use the track, we let him drive the car. So he's got Marcus Smith in the car, and Junior's leaning in the door, and he says I was giving him advice on how to install turf at the rest of his tracks.
So funny. So funny.
I love Junior. Junior post NASCAR is so much better than Junior as a driver.
He's a great commentator, man. And speaking of Josh Berry, I did want to say real quick, he's got a really nice throwback coming to Darlington.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw a picture of it.
I did not.
He's running Dale Jr.'s 2001 Pepsi 400
nice
winning scheme.
That's cool.
Of course, the 8's all jacked up because we can't get the real 8, but that's okay.
Right.
Good looking car.
Yeah, Josh is one of those too. Again, that he needs to finish some of these races. He needs to take advantage of the opportunity he's getting right
Stuff,
now.
yeah, the stuff you got underneath the hood.
And
right?
this was just a rookie mistake. He spun coming off the turn, and instead of taking it down pit road, he tried to turn back on the track and drove through the grass.
And that's a kudos to JR Motorsports and everything that they're doing there. I mean, they've got a couple of guys there that help pay the bills, and then you've got your Allgaier and your Annette, and those guys bring sponsorship. They're consistent.
Yep.
Allgaier's going to get you some wins, and then you've got your Gregsons and your Berries, and those are your guys who are trying to develop and see what you can do. And you definitely got some talent there.
Yeah.
It's raw, It's
raw.
Raw.
I see a lot of potential with Josh, and I hope he gets the chance. Junior's had him under his wing for a while, and he's great in the late model. I'd like to see him get an opportunity.
Couple seasons. Here. Yeah. Hang in there. I think he'll get another year under his belt. He's got a long season to go. It's early in his career development yet. So.
Yep. Anything else worth mentioning in this one, James?
No, I think that's good, man. I think we got the biggest news out of there.
Right.
So.
More
to come, I guess.
For all the time we spent on the Xfinity race, we'll spend a very short amount of time in the Truck Series race.
Yeah, not much to say.
Hey, there's not a lot to discuss when it's a 130 lap race, and 102 of those laps are led by Kyle Busch.
KFB.
Yep.
KFB.
A little late on that one.
There you. I tried to set you up, but I know the board's probably in a new spot.
Yeah, it's a little bit further. It's like 2 inches further out of reach now. So
Kyle's got to feel good getting a win.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
Well, then he hopped on the jet and went to Bristol.
So. And yeah, he's griping about the Bristol dirt I saw today. So he's rearing around into form. He's getting in there.
I will admit I didn't watch this race. I watched the extended highlights on YouTube because in addition to moving this weekend, my boys had an all-day hockey tournament on Saturday. So something had to be cut. I watched the entire Xfinity race because James had warned me in advance that something exciting was going to happen with Noah Gragson. And then I watched Supercross, and I actually fell asleep on Supercross. And so, I was not getting through the truck race as well.
I don't know how you fit it all in as it is, man.
I'm surprised I got in as much as I did. But,
yeah.
I don't know that there's really anything else to talk about this with this one, is there?
No, there was some good runs by some guys. I mean, John Hunter Nemechek continues to look like he's overqualified. But other than that, not a whole lot else going on there. Just it's kind of a typical truck race.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a more exciting truck race coming up on Saturday, though.
So all but 4, 5, 6, 7 laps. All but 7 laps were led by KBM between John Hunter Nemechek and Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
Austin Wayne Self led 4 laps, and Matt Crafton led 3.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to wonder why John Hunter took such a step back. I understand
because he wants to win, man.
I know. I understand he's going to probably win the championship, but I just feel like
he's going to take his name and put his name so much higher. It just amplifies his resume.
I know.
You're not going to be able to ignore John Hunter. James, I don't know that it gets him a better ride because I don't know where he's going to go.
I don't know either. I don't know. I don't know what he's
unless
got going
he's
on
in
here,
the Toyota pipeline now, and we keep wanting to put guys in that 2311 car.
I just don't think he's in the pipeline. I don't
know
where he's going. I don't know, Eric. I don't know what's going on. This is something to watch in the Truck Series. If you're paying attention as a fringe watcher of the Truck Series, just keep an eye on John Hunter because he's really dang good.
Yeah.
He's always overachieved in lesser equipment. So now that he's got it's kind of like Kyle Larson on a more grander scale, I guess, because Kyle Larson never raced for his own team, but I guess in the NASCAR ranks anyway. So yeah, seeing John Hunter with that stuff. Definitely throws my theory out the window that Eric's always gotten angry with me about whenever I joke that there's only one good KBM truck and it's only a couple of races a year. It's when Kyle Busch runs.
Right.
So,
yeah.
That theory is definitely shot in the you know what.
Yep. See, so. I know. Has the Haley Deegan stuff died down now? I mean, we don't really hear much about her anymore. She's
definitely calm.
Midfield, kind of. Just hanging in there.
Yeah. She might be somebody to watch on Saturday.
Yeah.
I think maybe.
She could be.
She's good on the dirt.
She gonna be your pick for the truck race?
No. Probably would make me look like a fool if I don't. But
yeah.
Yep.
That would be awesome if she wins it and neither of us pick her because
neither
of us are gonna pick her.
No, she's definitely calmed down. She just needs more and more seat time. She might need a couple of years in the Truck Series before she's ready, but she's gonna, Eric, she's on the fast track to get a seat somewhere. So I don't know. It's definitely cool. I think there's a reason Toyota let her go to Ford.
She's Ryan Newman's replacement.
Maybe. Yeah. Next season? I don't know.
Yeah. I hope not. I hope not that fast. Don't do that to her. I mean, that's not good for her. That's not good for anybody.
Yeah, she'll be riding in a Penske or a Stewart-Haas Ford in the Xfinity Series here next year, probably.
Yep,
we'll
probably. All right, let's talk some news, James. First off, we got our entry list for the Bristol Dirt Race. We're going to talk a lot about that coming up, but anything jump out at you on this list?
Not really so much on the cup list. I added these to the notes just because, I mean, it's fascinating just because there's so many. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different cup people coming over to the Truck Series. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I saw Bubba Wallace was talking today. If he has an advantage because he's won Eldora, I don't think he thinks so. But Eric, we talked about a lot of this already. So, we like we said, we got Larson out there. Jessica Friesen's running. That's something to note.
Let's go through the list of cup drivers. You got Martin Truex Jr. You've got Kyle Larson. You could call Brett Moffitt, I guess.
Bubba.
Well, hold on. I'm going in order. You're going to throw me all off here. Ryan Newman. Let's see. Kevin Harvick. Bubba Wallace. John Hunter. Of course, he races in that series all the time. Never mind. That's it, right? Daniel Suarez.
Yeah, Daniel Suarez is in it. Yep.
So that's what you got for cup drivers in this thing. You mentioned Jessica Friesen as well.
This ticks me off because every year we went to Eldora, we wanted to see more cup guys, and we never quite got that many. They got a whole bunch of them.
Because they had to travel specifically for it, and now they have a reason to do it. See, all these guys that wanted to play the whole, we're too good for this. Now they gotta learn it and not look stupid on Sunday. So.
Mm-hmm. I wonder. Like Kevin Harvick's not a dirt guy at all. I know he's just going to be getting some experience out there.
Remember what Brad Keselowski did when he showed up to Eldora? He looked like a fool.
He was just kind of out there. He was just out there. But yeah, we got a chance to talk to Brad though. That was fun.
Yeah.
That made it worth it.
All right. Roger Penske says Indianapolis Motor Speedway is prepping for 250,000 guests for the Indy 500. 170,000 tickets have been sold. What does that place seat?
400,000.
That's what I was going to say. It's like 400,000.
450. Yeah, 450. Yeah. A lot.
So they're expecting about half the crowd.
Yeah, I think for the 100th race there was 500,000 people at Indianapolis for that. Okay. So that's I
know COVID isn't happening in Indiana, so fortunately.
Yeah, I know Roger's trying to. I think he was a good soldier last year. They pushed the Indy 500 back to the fall.
And then still didn't have fans.
Yeah, so he's definitely he's like, no, listen, we're gonna do something here. So I don't know what they're gonna end up doing though, Eric. I mean, just because they have the tickets sold doesn't mean that's what they're gonna end up doing. Right. But I could see 80,000 people in that place, spaced out. I mean, I think that is actually a realistic expectation. I mean, that's not quite a quarter of capacity or whatever it is, and I think the
snake pit will be in.
I don't think this. I think the snake pit actually moved to Miami, Florida, right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the snake pit's going to make it back up to Indy in time.
I believe that the midget race has not been announced either, so it's possible that is likely not happening as well.
Probably not the dirt track that they put in there. Yeah. I doubt it. I don't know. This is something to watch. I think though, moving forward, this is.
I mean, we're getting there. I got my first shot, James. I know you said you're in line to get yours, and it's coming. People are gonna be vaccinated, and we'll be able to go back to normal supposedly until the next coronavirus or whatever it is comes up.
Yeah, exactly. Until 2022, I don't know. Who knows?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like allowing 250,000 people at that place is still. I mean, that seems ridiculous to me, but we'll see.
Yep, we'll see. I'll jump around here a little bit. Speaking of having fans at the track, Richmond and Martinsville just found out that they will be able to have, at least currently, 30% capacity for their upcoming races. Previously, it was 30% capacity for outdoor entertainment venues or 1,000 people, whichever was more. They've removed the 1,000 people limit now, so 30% capacity is allowed. So as long as that holds pat for those upcoming races in Virginia, that will be the case for the Cup races. So good.
Fans at Martinsville.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I mean, I'm good. I think 30 to 50% capacity. Maybe 50 is pushing a little bit in some of these places, but I think we're at 20% now in Michigan. So if the Cup race was in Michigan tomorrow, I think they could have 20% of the people there.
Yeah, and in Atlanta, the stands in Atlanta were speckled.
Yeah.
Looked like they actually looked pretty spaced out to me.
Right.
I didn't.
I mean, I've been watching Supercross, and I think they're 20% for Supercross indoors.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a lot of room between people.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Eric. We're at the point now. We're not going back. People are going to be watching sports.
Right.
Indoors, outdoors. It's going to start trickling in. I mean, we got fans at NHL games and NBA games. I mean, heck, we had fans at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Which at some points made me feel a little uncomfortable. So, but hey, we're like you said, people are getting vaccinated now. I think we're definitely closer. So yeah, 30% I think is definitely reasonable. And those are short tracks. 30% there is much smaller than some. So
right. I think it's really interesting to go back to this Indy 500 story, that the picture that they used for the USA Today or the NBC Sports article is Roger Penske wearing the mask, not covering his nose.
Yeah, stuff. I know. Yeah, he's standing there by himself.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
My
feeling on I kind of feel like masks outdoors are silly anyway, especially if you're away from people. But whatever.
Yeah.
I know you and I've bickered back and forth about masks at auto racing when we discussed the Snowball Derby.
I mean, if you're in a crowd,
that was a slightly different situation though, because COVID was still raging pretty good at that point.
Yeah, it was.
Most places it's better now, but it's still, there's some places.
I mean, listen, I run outside. I run outside almost every day, and I don't have a mask on.
Yeah.
So, Jimmy,
I pretty much avoid wearing it outside unless I'm in close contact with people, and I just personally, I'm antisocial, so I'm never in close contact with people, so I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. Right.
I might sit here and talk.
Podcast host.
Yeah, I might talk for an hour every week on this podcast, but I don't. I mean, this is different than actually talking to people.
You're in your own little bubble over there. You're fine.
Right. It's not like anybody's here. You're across the. Well, you're not that far away now. You're about 15 minutes away from me now, but.
Yeah, it's close.
I'm even closer now.
You're creeping up on me. I'm getting nervous.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, once we both get our shots, we get vaccinated. We can do this in person. We probably never will, but we could.
We could. The possibility is there.
Yeah.
We'll be back at my
I have an extra spot set up right next to me that's ready to go for you.
Good. Well, maybe by next year's Daytona 500.
Right, yeah. Speaking of Roger Penske, he expects to renew Brad Keselowski's contract for next season. Brad, of course, signed a 1-year deal to get through this year, and James very much has him going somewhere else.
I do.
I just don't see it, man. I don't see where he goes.
Eric, here's the thing. I expect $1 million to show up on my porch every single day. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. This is politicking to me. It just seems like Roger's trying to get out in front of it and start the news reel on this one.
Yeah, let me read the quote real quick. So
go ahead. Yep, go ahead.
This is a Ford Performance press release. The question is, you have a few drivers in contract years. What is your plan there? Roger responds, we're in discussions with all of them. With COVID, we haven't been able to get together, but we've had conversations with Brad before. I think we're moving in the right direction. There's no reason we wouldn't renew for sure. I guess it's just a matter of us sitting down and putting it together, but with everybody not being able to move around, you don't do that over the phone and you don't do it by Zoom. So we want to do that face-to-face with all of them. I agree. I mean, that's a pretty big jump. To me, to headline this story as Roger Penske expects to renew Brad Keselowski's contract, because, I mean, there's not a whole lot that gives me a ton of hope there. I just don't. I think in the end, I don't see where Brad's going to go. Brad, you mentioned to me, or you mentioned in our discussion off air that, Brad's going to want to get paid. There's only so many places that are going to pay him.
Yes.
And I don't see, Hendrick has the Alex Bowman ride, which I believe Bowman signed to a long term, isn't he?
I think this is a contract year, but he may have. NASCAR contracts are weird. It's not like other pro sports where you kind of know. So I think he's got a year on this one and maybe another.
The thing with Hendrick Motorsports to me, though, is I don't think Hendrick has any interest in bringing in a veteran like this.
He doesn't want to spend money on drivers.
And why would he bring in somebody that's got a couple years left when he can put somebody like Bowman or somebody else in that role that he can grow into that spot. There's just he has enough success with the young guys that he has now that he doesn't need the old grizzled veteran.
He's got the champion in his back pocket.
Yeah.
He's going to have to eventually pay. Chase Elliott will get paid. Kyle Larson.
Larson's going to be getting some money here soon too.
Might be the best driver in the sport right now. At
this
very moment.
Soon as he starts bringing some sponsorship in, he's going to get paid.
Well, and Rick Hendrick thought he was going to have to pay a lot of money to get Kyle Larson out of that Ganassi car, and guess what? He's not paying him hardly anything.
Right.
So he is getting Kyle Larson on a deal right now. He is a steal.
So you're not going there. You're not going to JGR because we know there's no room at JGR.
There's no room at JGR.
You're not. I don't think you go to Stuart Haas because
not
why the hell would you want to go to Stuart Haas?
Not the way that team's running.
So
that's another team that's cheap.
But you have a theory. But the problem is we keep putting drivers there, and they only have 4 teams to begin with. They've only got 1 now, and they need charters for the other 3. So 2311 is the only logical place that he'd possibly go, right?
That is my theory, my new working theory, because I thought Brad was going to Hendrick last year, and I was wrong.
And you said that they have said that they want a veteran.
They have.
There, right?
That has been communicated. Yep, that is. Denny Hamlin has put that out there.
Not a better veteran.
This is the type of guy you would want if you're that young team. You bring in you got a new car, you've got a guy who can wheel it and has won championships.
And we assume money is no issue with this team, right?
Money is not an issue with this team. I'm sure Brad can bring in sponsorship as well. They've got tons of sponsorship. They've got an owner with, I wouldn't say empty, pockets that he can completely empty, but I mean, Michael Jordan's not going to run out of money either.
Right.
But he wants to have a successful operation, I would assume, too. But yes, this is where Brad Keselowski can get what he's worth. So this is the only spot, I think, unless Penske's going to.
Bubba Wallace is with 2311. We're going to bring Brad Keselowski in here. John Hunter Nemechek's going to end up here because where else is he going to go? So we got John Hunter. He's not going there. We got the Gibbs kid. He's got to come here because there's nowhere for him to go. Gibbs, Harrison Burton. Man, they're going to have 5-6 cars in this team.
They cannot do it. They cannot do it. But if it's a 2-car team next year with Brad and Bubba, I think that's
I'm giving you crap because first of all, I think that a large part of this team's development is to take those Toyota guys that are in the development that there's no place to put them and put them with this team or have an option with this team versus just the 4 JGR cars. But that being said, if you can land a Brad Keselowski, why wouldn't you land a Brad Keselowski?
Well, and that's the thing is at the end of the day, if you go to Michael Jordan and you say, hey, Mike, we're going to bring in this Harrison Burton guy. That's not going to do anything for Michael Jordan. But if you say, hey, Mike, we're going to bring in, NASCAR champion Brad Keselowski. What do you think?
Just show him that championship video where he's hammered with the boot
the booze.
Yeah, of Miller Lite at the post race interview on ESPN Sports Center.
The funny thing that Roger said in that too, Eric, was we don't do these things over the phone, or well, they've negotiated him down from his contract a year ago over the phone.
Right.
So I don't think, man, I'm telling you,
I predict he's going to stay put.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably
if he didn't go somewhere last year, he's not going anywhere this year.
I just think he put a Band-Aid on it. I don't know. Brad deserves a champion.
I think he intended to sign last year as a stopgap to go somewhere this year. I just don't think he goes anywhere.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
How many times are we going to talk about this on the podcast?
My God, we've had so many, and they're long discussions every time.
I know, every time, because you get fired up and I get fired up. It's good. Yep.
All right. Any other news that I missed?
I think we're good, bud. I haven't checked the Twitters, though.
All right. We're going to be heading into picks here in a second, but let's recap last week. James, you beat me again.
Yeah, it was a smidge.
Yeah, 113 to 111. So James still leads 522 to 512. So James leads me by 10 points in the picks contest, and we're going to even it up this week. Of course, we do not have Xfinity this week, but we go to the dirt track, and it's a complete crapshoot on picks because the Truck Series, only like 3 drivers that are in the Truck Series actually raced when they were on dirt at Eldora last time. And the Cup Series, none of them have raced on the dirt. So there's no stats to even compare to other than how they performed when they raced at Eldora. So, and only a couple of them have done that. So it's going to be interesting to say the least. So I get the first pick today still. And so with the truck series, it's the Pinty's Truck Race on dirt at Bristol Motor Speedway. And James, I bounced around on this quite a bit. And I teased last week that I was going to go with the last winner at Eldora in Stuart Friesen. And I've changed my mind at the last minute.
Son of a gun.
Yeah. So I went with performance over guys that have run on, you know what? Never mind. I'm going to take Stuart Friesen because I can't pick the one I was going to pick because I picked him last week. Damn it.
Yeah, you're boxed out.
I was going to pick Grant Enfinger, but I guess I can't. I'm going to go with Stuart Friesen.
Boxed yourself out. Yep.
There we go. Yeah. So just to finish my thought, Grant Enfinger's got some pretty good performance overall and a win at Eldora on the dirt. So
yeah,
he's a good pick.
I had it between two guys. Enfinger was one, and Crafton was the other for
Crafton's
me.
a great pick because Crafton ran well at Eldora too.
Yeah, yep, and that's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Crafton.
Yeah.
I think he may not lead a lap and he may not finish in the top 5, but he's gonna be a top 10 solid. He'll find a way to stay out of trouble. He'll hug the bottom, and he'll just stay safe. And this is gonna be a little bit of a dicey one. Now, I think it's important for us, Eric, to also remind people we have to score points in our picks.
Yes.
So that's why we don't have a Kyle Larson pick here.
Correct.
Or, whomever.
We can pick Kyle Larson all day and pick up the win, but it does nothing for us.
Does nothing. Yep. We're trying to score points. So we want to get guys in the truck series who score points. Just a friendly reminder if this is your first time you're checking in on us. So.
Yes. Good reminder there.
Yep.
So now James kind of cheated a little bit here at the Cup Series pick. It's the Food City Dirt Race at Bristol.
I did. Well, I didn't cheat. I just took advantage
James
of the
cheated
the
because
rule.
he picked first, even though he doesn't get to pick first. But the reason he picked first is because he's picking the guy that I can't pick because I picked Kyle Larson this past week. So James is picking Kyle Larson for Bristol Dirt. Probably the best pick there is. I would imagine there's no better pick. A, on a dirt track, B, just in general is at racing something new. Kyle Larson's won everything. Yeah. So I'm going to surprise you with my pick, though, James, I think.
Let's have it.
I am going to go a little bit out on a limb, but not too far, and I'm going to go with the original. I'm going to go with the OG. I'm going to go with the first winner on dirt, and with Austin Dillon as my pick.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. I am. I've got my eyes on Austin Dillon.
When things were new and we ran the trucks on the dirt for the first time, Austin Dillon got the win.
And who just won? Who just won at Bristol this last weekend?
Yeah.
In the late models.
And not only that, but Austin is just in general running really well lately. So
he's a good dirt racer, man.
Yep.
He is a good, legit dirt racer.
Except when he comes to Tri-City Motor Speedway. But
well, I mean, yeah. So that was pretty cool that he did, though.
Yes, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Yep.
So there you go.
Yeah, I'll put you down for Austin Dillon and Stuart Friesen. I'm just updating our point sheet that you've so graciously created for us.
I spent a lot of time on that when I was supposed to be working.
It's
oh crap! Edit that part out.
Yeah,
I'm salary. It doesn't matter.
It's good.
I work 24/7 anyway.
Right. There you go. You're a newspaper man. You're always working.
Yeah. Including on my day off. I was working yesterday and I had the day off. So.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So do we even need to talk about fantasy? Can we just skip the fantasy discussion? Fantasy
really
sucks, guys. So let's just skip. No, I'm just kidding.
My God, dude,
give us a fantasy recap, James.
It's such a heartbreaking week again. Oh my God.
James was doing really well this week.
I know. I had Larson all over my bonus, and I lost 35 points when Blaney passed him. So, I was excited about the race towards the end, and then I remembered, oh crap, I have Kyle Larson all over the place. So losing those points, I'm not sure who Ranger had there, but Ranger gets the win back to back for Ranger Runyon. One of our past champions. He is coming for it again. And he's talking all sorts of smack on the Twitters. So that's been fun. Thanks, Ranger. I finished second with that total disaster at the end. And then Fast to the Grass comes up and gets third. So there's your top three there. Overall standings, I'll hit you with a few names here. Ranger back to the top. He's out in front of Raging Redneck and Freight Train. So we got two of our vets there in the top three and a newbie. I am running 5th right now, and Eric is.
How did you get that high up?
We're pretty tight. I've been stuck around 9th all season so far, but
Yeah, you're 5th. That's impressive, actually.
I know I'm sneaking my way. I'm sneakily sneaking my way up this week, but this Bristol race is going to definitely shake the league up, I think, a little bit.
How did I get ahead of Shut Up Roger?
Well, Roger had. Let me go back. Hold on. I don't know if Roger listens to this. He probably does. I don't know.
Oh, he finished terrible. He had 116 points.
Yeah, he had a horrible day. He finished 16th. That was.
He finished 16th at Phoenix too.
Eric, you were a handful of points away from a top 5. Close to a top 5, top 6.
Well, freaking Chase Elliott killed me.
Yeah, that hurt. But yeah, my guys were doing good. If I had Kevin Harvick running a little bit better, I would have had an even better day. But
I was not even paying attention to the results because I knew I had Chase and I knew I had Harvick, and Harvick did so bad all day that he still managed a 10th place finish, but he didn't get any points during the day. So
yeah, I will say that my frustrations have led me to using some guys of late that have I'm not as cautious as I normally am. So that's just something to keep an eye on. But
Chase Elliott got 4 points.
Yeah, not a great day. Not a great day.
Freaking stupid. Austin Dillon. I picked Austin Dillon. He got 35 points. That was a good pick.
Yeah, that was a great run. I was going to ask you, so what's your fantasy strategy with the Bristol Dirt Race? I mean, it's a good opportunity for us to kind of talk about who we like and don't like. But
I'm going to probably pick guys that I wouldn't normally use.
Me too. Yeah, this is a chance to spread it out a little bit.
I mean, that's kind of why I picked Dillon.
Guys with dirt experience.
That's why I picked Dillon at Atlanta. Is I just saw him running well because he's been doing pretty well.
He ran good at Homestead. Yeah.
But I don't. Austin's not one I pick every week, but he's definitely be in the lineup this week. Ryan Newman will be somebody that'll be in my lineup.
That's an interesting one. See, I won't play Ryan Newman.
Really?
I won't run Ryan Newman.
Why wouldn't you? Ryan was up front in the trucks. Every year he ran at Eldora.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
why wouldn't you run Newman in this thing?
I don't know.
They're all going to have crappy cars. They're not going to have good equipment, so that's going to make him even.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they're going to all run their oldest cars they have in their fleet. Because they're not going to run a good one here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm going to run the. I think I'm trending more towards the guys with the dirt experience, and that could be a fatal. That could be a fatal mistake.
What about Bubba? Does Bubba get a start from you on this one?
No, I'm not going to run Bubba.
Okay.
Probably another mistake.
Yeah, he's got to win on the dirt.
He's got to win on the dirt, but I'm going with guys who are tried and true dirt veterans this time.
So you're gonna blow a Kyle Larson. I mean, I know Kyle Larson's gonna win this thing, but you're gonna blow a Kyle Larson start on this one for sure, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna blow a Larson start. I'm gonna probably gonna run I'm probably talking too much about my team on this point, but
that's all right.
These are guys.
That's all right. It's not like we're gonna do any good anyway.
Well, it doesn't matter. These are guys I like.
You guys, if you're listening to this, just do the opposite of what we're telling you to do right now.
Exactly. No, but here's the guys I like for this race, regardless if they're on my team or not. I like Chris Bell, obviously. Yeah. Right. I like Austin Dillon. I like Ricky Stenhouse.
How did Bell do when he ran in the dirt at Eldora?
He was okay.
I know he had one season there, right?
He was okay. Yeah, he was okay.
Didn't he? I seem to remember him running well and then having trouble during the race.
Yeah, that's typical. Yeah, that was typical. Chase Briscoe had run well.
Yeah.
He had run well in the truck. He's another one to keep an eye on. Stuart Friesen's in this race, so
Chase Briscoe's got to win here, right? Or win at Eldora, I mean.
Yeah, didn't he win? No, he lost to Enfinger.
That's right. That's right. He lost by an inch or two.
Yeah, yep. He lost to Enfinger. That was great. Yeah.
Yep.
So
staying there on the front stretch in the infield.
Yep. So yeah, that's kind of my strategy but those are the guys I like though. Eric is the guys who've got lap dirt experience who can go out there and Chase Elliott's kind of one of those guys too to watch. I don't know if people are going to use a start on him here, but
I won't use a start on Chase Elliott, but I guarantee you I'm not going to pick Ryan Newman most weeks unless it's a super speedway, but I'm going to pick Ryan Newman this week for sure.
Yeah, I like to see that. I'm going to be watching that one. Ryan Preece, another one maybe to think about too. This guy's who got some dirt.
I think this is the stupidest thing I've probably ever said on this podcast, James, but I think there's too much pressure on Larson, and Larson's not going to win this weekend.
Oh, you're probably Eric. I don't think you're far off there.
I think he's. The thing is, I don't think pressure means anything to Kyle Larson anymore. Back when he had the pressure to win at Eldora in the truck, that pressure got to him and cost him wins there. But I don't think it matters to him animore.
He's in a different headspace.
He doesn't feel pressure anymore. He's not human.
Yeah. I mean, even that race that got away from him on Sunday, he was just kind of like, yeah, he's not worried. I think he's confident. He knows he's got stuff that can win. So
yeah. So the question of the week, though,
but
James, around the dirt race and all that, the question of the week is: does James tune in tomorrow night to watch iRacing on the dirt?
No.
No, you're not even gonna give it a shot.
No.
Huh?
Nah.
No. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No. The pictures look cool on Twitter though.
I believe Gordon and Boyer are running, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah. There you go.
And Timmy Hill is mad.
Yeah. What the hell did Timmy Hill
mad.
got a win last year and he doesn't get the invite?
Didn't even invite the guy.
Come
Poor guy.
on.
I know. What a
Freaking
joke.
Fox and iRacing. Jeez, that's terrible. What a slap in the face. He won a race last year. Dale Jr. is invited, but they don't invite Timmy Hill.
Oh, I don't know if Gordon's running, actually. I think it's just Junior and Boyer, actually.
Is it?
Now that
Okay.
you say that. Yeah. I think it's Junior. Junior's got a spot.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm a Junior fan, but it's Fox,
Kyle
man.
Larson's
We're
running.
giving Junior publicity on Fox for.
Kyle Larson is running.
Yeah, well, that should go well. So who's going to be in that 5 car this weekend?
Well, he's running his foundation as the sponsor for the Wednesday iRacing event. So.
Good. Let's no live feeds from Kyle Larson's living room.
No, just keep him off. Yeah, keep him off there.
All right. Any shout outs this week, James?
No, I think I'm good, man. I don't think I appreciate the Twitter conversations we've been having though with some of our followers. Thanks, guys. That's been a lot of fun. Yeah,
Justin Carrier, I like the fact that he's been commenting on the he shares the same enthusiasm on the fantasy league as we do. So
yeah, that's great.
Appreciate that because the fantasy league sucks.
Yeah.
It's so awful. I did fantasy football like 2 seasons and that was it. That was enough for me.
Yep. Well, we're getting to that point with this thing. So
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. As painful as it is, guys, I will keep doing it as long as you guys keep signing up. So it's awesome that we got a nice full field of people this year. It's pretty cool. But I'm gonna bitch about it every week because I hate it.
Yep, me too.
James, where can they find you on social media if they want to chat with you during the week?
At James Cush on Twitter.
You can find me at TSuperspeedway on Twitter. You can find the podcast on Facebook at facebook.com/thesuperspeedway. If you want more of the podcast, you can find us on our website, thesuperspeedway.com. You can find links to old shows, show notes from all of our episodes. Those include links to articles we discussed in the episode, past race coverage, photos, all that jazz. Whatever you want, you can find it there at thesuperspeedway.com. You can find the podcast in Apple Podcasts, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you find your podcasts, you should be able to find us. And if you can't, then you're listening in the wrong place, guys. Just get with the program, get with one of the main brand ones, and find us on there. We appreciate everybody who subscribed and continues to listen. If you like what you hear, subscribe. And if you want to help out the show, you can become a patron at patreon.com/thesuperspeedway. The long-awaited, James, before we get out of here.
Oh, no.
Who in the world? So I'm not a dirt track guy. I mean, I worked at a dirt track for a few seasons, but I've always been an asphalt guy. But even I know that you don't schedule a 300-lap dirt race in the middle of the freaking afternoon.
Yeah.
What in the hell are they doing running this at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday?
It's going to be something to watch.
I just feel like we're setting it up for failure.
Fox likes that 3 o'clock start time, Eric. They don't care.
They are just. Who is the clueless person over there that keeps making these races? My God, I could get on a soapbox for days.
Oh my God.
I hope they don't ruin this race. This was my prediction that this was going to be the dark horse best race of the season. I think it's got a lot of potential. It could be really exciting. I think there's going to be a lot of. I mean, guys, this is not going to be a dirt race. It's going to turn into an asphalt race, but it's going to be a slow asphalt race with lots of contact. And no aero, we're not going to worry about aero push and all that crap. So to me, that's going to give us a good race. I just hope the track holds up and that we don't jinx ourselves by having just the worst possible day or time of a race. I mentioned off air that this reminds me of every year when the NHL schedules their Winter Classic to start at like noon in the bright freaking sunshine, and then they're like, oh, the light is reflecting off the ice and it's melting the ice where the ice has black paint on it. It's like, well, no crap, guys, play it at freaking night. Like, God, I can't think of a dirt race in the country, a high profile dirt race in the country that runs in the middle of the afternoon. Everybody runs at night on dirt.
I think dirt fans are going to be watching this going, what are they doing? We'll see.
We're going to look stupid, which we always do when we do this because people, I just
a lot of investment into this thing.
Don't get it. I hope it's a success. I'm optimistic, but the start time really has me worried. So,
yep.
Anyway, we head to Bristol Motor Speedway this weekend, hopefully for a good race on the dirt. Maybe it'll rain during the day and we'll get to run at night. And that'll work out good for me because, James, my boys have a hockey tournament this weekend. I am gone all weekend long. I won't be home until Sunday afternoon. So I'm hoping that it gets a little delayed. Bud. Yeah.
Hang in there.
So don't be sending me any spoilers because I'll be catching up.
I won't say a word. I know better.
I'll be muting the Facebook conversation like I do almost every Sunday.
Fine.
So
that's fine.
Bristol Motor Speedway is the dirt race this weekend. Highly anticipated. We'll be back next week to discuss it, break it all down, talk about how the track held up, and talk about Austin Dillon, the winner of the dirt race, because he's my pick, and I'm going to smoke James this week. We'll be back next week to discuss it all and preview whatever race is next. Nobody cares because it's all about the dirt. Everybody, let's go racing. I honestly don't know what race is after Bristol.
Yeah. I don't even think I know, honestly. It's in the spreadsheet, but I closed it.
Yeah, it is on the spreadsheet. Martinsville.
Oh, there you go.
So we go straight to short track, and then Richmond. So 3 short tracks in a row.
Perfect.
And then Talladega.
Wow. That's great.